A bunch of car manufacturers in North America have petitioned the US government to increase its cap on electric car manufacturing. Now, the irony of this is that three of the four petitioning the government barely make any EVs at all right now. Honestly, I don't know whether to laugh or cry at just how ridiculous this is. Hello, my friends. Subscribers, welcome back everyone else. Now, what's going on? Maybe you can explain to me what these Muppets are thinking or saying or doing, because it doesn't make any sense to me. Electric car makers, as they call themselves, have written an open letter to US Congress. The CEO of General Motors, Ford, Stellantis, and Toyota, right? 4 companies who produce a very, very small number of EVs in the US, in fact, less put together than Tesla makes in a single month, have petitioned the US Congress to lift the federal government's cap on the number of vehicles that are eligible for a tax credit of up to $7,500 US from the current 200,000 vehicle cap. In a joint letter on Monday to congressional leaders, the executives say the credit, which begins phasing out once a company sells 200,000 plug-in electric vehicles, is essential to keep the vehicles affordable as production and commodity costs rise. The letter says this: eliminating the cap will incentivize consumer adoption of future electrified options. It was signed by GM's Mary Barra, Ford's Jim Farley, Stellantis' Carlos Tavares, and Toyota North America CEO Ogawa. Wow. Right now, Toyota doesn't sell any EVs in North America at all. Right now, Stellantis doesn't either, right? Pure EVs I'm talking about. The whole point of this bill was not to incentivize these Muppets to put little batteries in cars and big engines in them and then try and sell plug-in hybrids. The whole point of them was to get people to adopt clean cars, right? Cars that were the future, fully electric cars. Now, all 4 of these companies, Ford, General Motors, Toyota, and Stellantis, are lagging way behind when it comes to electrification. I mean, if you look at global electric car sales, none of them are in the top 3. I mean, you've got Tesla, right? BYD, Volkswagen, Hyundai, Kia, and who else? SAIC. Those companies are the leaders in electric vehicle production. None of these companies, General Motors, Ford, Toyota, and Stellantis, lead in terms of EVs. And yet they're whining and complaining. Now, the only one of these companies that's even produced more than 200,000 EVs right now is General Motors with the Bolt. So, hey, kudos to them for actually hitting that target. Now, Toyota will breach the number of 200,000 soon, but not as a result of producing and selling EVs, only because somehow some Muppet decided that this should apply to plug-in hybrids as well. Now, here's what they said. We ask that the per automaker cap be removed, with a sunset date set for a time when the EV market is more mature. The automakers continue, explaining that recent economic pressures and supply chain constraints are increasing the cost of manufacturing electrified vehicles, which in turn puts pressure on the price to consumers. Opposition to the initiative is strongly backed by oil and coal industries, unsurprisingly, championed by Senator Joe Manchin from West Virginia, who counted. There's a waiting list for EVs right now, with fuel prices at $4 per gallon, which is a bargain, by the way. If you're here in Australia, it's double that price in Australia. But they still want us to throw $5,000 or $7,000 or $12,000 credits to buy EVs. It makes no sense to me whatsoever. Manchin also opposed Joe Biden's proposed EV tax credits, as they were offered with a union-only caveat, which, for example, would have blocked Tesla from receiving subsidies. The bottleneck that Manchin spoke of even resulted in the Biden administration getting creative and pulling out a 1950s era regulation for battery supply. Interestingly enough, Toyota recently came under fire for lobbying for fossil fuels in the USA and Europe and Japan, with a petition on the internet gaining over 120,000 signatures in a single day. Toyota is attempting to leverage both markets at the moment, which could turn out to be a pricey strategy in the long run. Toyota is doing, in fact, apparently ranked number 1 for lobbying against EVs globally. So here you have it. Interestingly, the only company here that produces EVs en masse is not asking the Biden administration for anything. Tesla. Tesla's not whining, they're not moaning, they're just getting on with things. That said, they have just increased their prices again for about the fifth time in the last 6 months. And these price increases don't just apply to Canada and United States buyers. They also apply in China, Australia, and also Europe. Let me know in the comment section below, what do you think? Should the EV tax credits cap of $200,000 be raised, or shouldn't it? I mean, there is a good point. Manchin, while I disagree with him on principle, he is right in saying that there are backlog in orders for 1 or more years for many EVs in the US. That's true right now. So it doesn't seem to me as though demand is the problem. Price. The reality is, these manufacturers, GM, Ford, Toyota, and Stellantis, simply ignored the reality over the last few years, which was that consumers wanted EVs. They didn't want to change. It's easy for them to do what? To just keep on manufacturing the same cars, using the same factories, using the same production equipment, the same workforce, just keep doing what we've always done and just hide our heads in the sand. Well, now it's become very obvious that what? The future is EVs, and those 4 companies simply are not fully prepared for what people want right now. Thank you for watching. Bye-bye.